Hello to all you beautiful souls. Excuse me. What is spirituality? Um, for me personally, in my perspective, spirituality is when you become much more aware of how you are living, and yes, of how you are living. How it started with me was to realize, as in spirituality, is that I'm also a spirit. Take into basic quantum physics that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, like Nikola Tesla said. And then I simply implemented that stuff into my life, and I said, okay, so if everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, then my soul and my spirit is energy as well. So I kind of took a deep breath. Spirit literally means breath. That is one of the things that learned. And once I just learned that I was not my body was just my vessel. It's like a car that I'm driving, and then I'm really a soul. I'm a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. That's when it all took off, and I believe that's when like my awakening began, like my pre-awakening in a sense. So, as I was saying, spirituality is when you become a lot more aware of how you're living. Once you become aware of that your body is your vehicle, then you start to want to dig deeper. You will all of a sudden have an urge for spiritual knowledge, um, deeper connections into things, little pieces. Like it's like your mind is a big puzzle piece, like a big puzzle, and you start finding little pieces, and it'll create a tiny little picture, but you still have a whole canvas to cover. That's kind of how it is. It's just the start of your real awakening. It's not even that, I can't say that. It's just sort of you finding your true self. Because in spirituality, once, for me personally, is once I realized I was a spirit, that I was a whole other entity, that everything that I had been taught throughout my childhood, everything that I had been programmed with, everything that I thought was true and that I thought was real, sort of fading away very quickly, or perhaps didn't never even felt real for me. You start to see things outside of the box. You kind of look around, and you see all these people driving cars and focusing on sex and drugs and money and stuff, and they all seem to have like their own little persona that blends with each other. And then all of a sudden you become very out of place. You start digging a lot deeper. You start feeling a bit separated. In a sense, it's like you're looking it's like you're looking through your eyes through another eye's view, like a bird's eye view. Like I look around and I don't just see this grass in front of me, or the door behind me, or the car, for example, that are driving by, or the semi truck that's kind of in front of my face. I don't just see it like that. I see it as in, like this grass right here is a form of life. Energy is moving through it, so it's living. It has a consciousness. It has a soul, just like me. Your soul is pure consciousness. That's what it is. Also, it's they also call it your intuition itself. Like whenever, let's say, your friend's like, hey, let's go to this party, and then you get like a bad feeling in your gut, and you're like, nah, dude, I really don't want to do that, but they keep peer pressuring you to say, oh, come on, yeah, it'll be fun, we'll go drink, we'll go smoke, Well, we'll get some bitches, etc. And really, your stomach is still churning backwards. You're like, none of this sounds right. That's your spirit right there. But your ego is like, all right, I'll do it anyway because I'm gonna give in to this pressure. That's what we're gonna do, and that's just what's gonna happen. And you ignore that. You ignore that gut feeling, and then everything just starts spiraling out of place. Another thing that I would like to relate it to is seeing different perspectives. Like, ugh, I'm very sorry, that was gross. That's what I was saying. Is we'll start to see different perceptions. We'll start to see different ways to see things, like just like yin and yang, kind of. Like, let's say, okay, there's someone that's angry, and they're screaming at me. They're saying, "Oh, you're mean. You're rude. Why would you say that to me?" And then I could take that really negatively, and I could be like, "I didn't do anything." La da 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 da. Like, just really resist the negativity that I'm getting, and then I can let it overwhelm me to a sense. And then I'll be like, I didn't fucking do anything. Fuck you back. And then like you and this person are just sending negative energy at each other's way, and it's not getting anywhere. Like, that's one perception. Let's rewind. And then he's like, oh, fuck you, you made me mad, you did this, and I take a deep breath and I say, I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean to do anything. I'm sorry. Like, do you need help with something? That kind of thing. And those are two whole different perceptions, which will lead to two whole completely different outcomes. That's kind of like what happened to me, and not only in that subject, but for every single subject. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. It's okay. Also, one of the things I realized that I was a spiritual being and that everything was energy is that I was a superhuman with superpowers. You know, when you're watching like Marvel or DC Comics and you're like, whoa, that's cool. And then someone asks you, if you had one superpower, what would it be? I answer, I already have one, and it's mind control. You can control everything through your mind, through your sheer perception of your thoughts. You can either choose to take something negatively, or you can choose to take something positively. Yes, it is very true, some things are much more subtle and obvious, like, oh, it's much more obvious that he's happy, or it's much more obvious that this dude is angry. But there's also like that subtleness that's kind of like you just get like an expression. Like, words don't really form it. It's body language. That's something that really hit me, was I became very clairsentient in a way. I stopped listening to the words of people and more about how they were saying them, the message behind them, the energy behind my voice. Like, for example, I can say, you guys need to trust yourself. You got superpowers. If not, you suck. Or I could be like, find your inner power. Find your inner peace. No matter what people say here and they say about you, it's not going to be true, because you just got to look inside yourself and you got to find yourself too. Like, there were two completely different tones, and they probably both affected you in two completely different ways. I only say this and imagine this because even as me talking in different tones, it affects my energetic body. It affects me. Yeah, that's just really what I believe what spirituality is. A couple of the things that affected me, that have affected me and have changed throughout my spiritual journey and my awakening. And I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you guys found my aspects interesting. If you guys have any questions or any video requests or anything, please follow me and leave a comment down in my, my little comment section I got here on YouTube. Or you can follow me on Instagram at the Leo's Light, which would be very appreciated. Thank you all once again. Peace and love. Namaste.